Joe has survived impossible missions, taken down terrorist networks, and led some of the CIA's most dangerous covert operations. So how did someone manage to kidnap the agency's most experienced field commander? Was it a terrorist organization seeking revenge? A foreign intelligence service? Or something even more dangerous, someone inside the CIA? The ending of Lioness Season 3 Episode 1 left fans stunned. Joe disappeared without a trace, leaving Caitlin, Cruz, and the entire agency scrambling for answers. But what if the kidnapping wasn't random at all? What if every move had been planned months in advance? Today, we're diving into one possible theory that could completely change the direction of Season 3. If this prediction comes anywhere close to the truth, Joe's biggest enemy may not be outside the CIA, it may already be inside it. The episode opens by replaying the final moments before Joe's capture. At first glance, everything looked routine. The convoy followed its planned route. The security team communicated on encrypted channels. Surveillance drones reported no immediate threats. Everything appeared normal, but when analysts replay the footage frame by frame, they notice something strange. One surveillance camera stops recording exactly 7 seconds before the ambush. A drone unexpectedly changes course. And one encrypted radio frequency goes silent. Coincidence? Joe never believed in coincidences. Back at CIA headquarters, the operations room is under immense pressure. Caitlin stands before a large digital map filled with satellite imagery and intercepted communications. No ransom demand. No claim of responsibility. No digital footprint. The room is silent. Byron breaks the silence. Professional operators. Caitlin nods. They wanted Joe alive. An analyst hesitates before speaking. That means they need something from her. Caitlin replies without looking away from the screen. Or they want us to believe they do. The difference could decide whether Joe lives or dies. Cruz paces across the room. She can't stop replaying the attack. Every explosion. Every gunshot. Every second she couldn't reach Joe. She slams a folder onto the table. This wasn't luck. Someone knew exactly where we'd be. A senior officer responds. That's speculation. Cruz shakes her head. No, that's experience. She points to the convoy map. They knew the route. They knew the timing. They knew our response protocol. Only someone with privileged information could have coordinated such a precise ambush. The room falls quiet. No one wants to say the next words aloud. An insider. Somewhere far away, Joe slowly opens her eyes. The room is dark. Cold concrete walls surround her. A single light hangs from the ceiling. Her hands are restrained. Her head throbs from the attack. She tests the restraints. Not to escape immediately, but to learn. The chain rattles. Heavy steel. Industrial grade. Not improvised. She listens carefully. Water dripping. A diesel generator. 3 voices outside. One guard dragging his boots. Another was tapping his fingers against a rifle. Joe closes her eyes. Every sound is information. Every second is preparation. Her captors believe she's helpless. Joe is already studying them. Back at headquarters, an encrypted message suddenly appears on Caitlin's secure terminal. No sender. No location. Only 6 words. You're searching in the wrong direction. The message disappears almost immediately. The cybersecurity team searches for its source. Nothing. No trace. No IP address. No digital fingerprint. Someone has breached one of the CIA's most secure systems, and vanished. Caitlin quietly says, "This isn't a warning. It's a challenge." Meanwhile, Byron reviews old classified files. One operation catches his attention. A mission from years ago. Officially marked as successful. But something doesn't add up. Several key targets were listed as eliminated. One file contains a handwritten note. Body never recovered. Byron stares at the page. What if we were wrong? He immediately carries the file to Caitlin. If this man survived, he'd have every reason to come after Joe. Caitlin studies the photograph. A former covert network commander who disappeared years earlier. A ghost. Until now. He places a chair directly in front of her. No shouting. No threats. Only silence. Finally, he speaks. You've caused us a great deal of trouble. Joe smiles faintly. If I'm here, I've probably caused you more than you know. The man studies her. We're not interested in revenge. Joe raises an eyebrow. Then why kidnap me? He leans closer. Because you're the only one who can identify the person we're really looking for. Joe's expression changes for the first time. Not fear. Curiosity. Back at headquarters, Cruz receives access to surveillance footage from the attack. She watches it repeatedly. Then freezes the image. One vehicle stands out. It shouldn't be there. No license plate. No military markings. No thermal signature. Almost as if someone deliberately erased its identity. She enlarges the image. The driver's face is hidden. But the way he moves, feels familiar. Too familiar. The steel door slowly swings open. Heavy footsteps echo across the concrete floor. Joe raises her eyes. A tall man walks into the room, his face partially hidden beneath the hood of a dark jacket. The guards immediately step aside. Not because they're afraid, because they respect him. The man stops a few feet away from Joe. For several seconds, neither of them says a word. Finally, the stranger removes his hood. Joe's expression changes. Not with fear. With disbelief. I watched you die, she says quietly. The man smiles. That's exactly what we wanted you to believe. The room falls silent. Years earlier, Joe had led a covert mission that officially ended with the elimination of one of the world's most dangerous intelligence brokers. The CIA confirmed the kill. The evidence was accepted. The file was closed. But now, that same man stands directly in front of her. Alive. Older. And far more powerful than before. The man slowly circles Joe. You know what your biggest mistake was? Joe stares at him without answering. You thought you destroyed the organization. You only destroyed one branch. Joe studies his face. Every scar. Every movement. Every word. She realizes something. He's not trying to intimidate her. He's trying to convince her. You're lying, Joe says. The man laughs. Am I? He presses a button on a remote. A projector lights up the wall. Images begin appearing. Secret bank transfers. Weapons shipments. Government officials. Military contractors. Intelligence officers. The organization Joe thought she destroyed, never disappeared. It simply evolved. Meanwhile, Cruz continues reviewing surveillance footage from the ambush. Frame by frame. Second by second. She notices something strange. The unidentified black SUV never appears on any highway camera before the attack. It simply appears. One analyst frowns. That's impossible. Cruz shakes her head. No. It means someone erased its movements. Only a handful of people possess that level of cyber capability. Which means, the kidnappers had help. From someone with extraordinary access. Washington finally issues new orders. Stand down. No unauthorized operations. No border crossings. No military response. Caitlin quietly folds the classified document. Then places it into a paper shredder. Byron watches in disbelief. You just ignored a direct order. Caitlin doesn't even look up. I ignored bad leadership. She walks toward the operations table. If Washington wants paperwork, they can have paperwork. I'm bringing Joe home. The mysterious leader sits across from Joe. I didn't kidnap you. Joe raises an eyebrow. You were invited. Joe almost laughs. I don't remember accepting. You accepted the moment you took that mission years ago. He slides another photograph across the table. Joe's eyes widen. It's an old mission briefing. One she hasn't seen in years. Several names have been crossed out. But one remains untouched. The final target. Officially listed as deceased. The man points at the file. He wasn't dead. He disappeared. And now, he controls everything. Joe begins connecting the pieces. Every mission. Every assassination. Every failed operation. Someone has been manipulating events from the shadows for years. Back at headquarters, an emergency cybersecurity audit begins. Every employee's access history is reviewed. Every login. Every classified document. Every communication. Hours pass. Nothing. Then, one she hasn't seen in years. One analyst notices something. A security badge entered the archives 3 nights before Joe's mission. No authorization. No record of what was accessed. Only one problem. The badge belongs to someone currently working inside CIA headquarters. Someone everyone trusts. The room goes silent. The mysterious leader leans forward. I don't need information. I need your help. Joe smiles. You kidnapped the wrong woman. No. I kidnapped the only woman capable of stopping what's coming. Joe studies him carefully. He's telling the truth. Or at least, he believes he is. That makes him even more dangerous. Ignoring every official order, Cruz assembles a small rescue team. No uniforms. No CIA insignias. No official equipment. Everything is untraceable. One operator asks, what if we're caught? Cruz loads her weapon. Then we were never here. The team boards 2 unmarked helicopters. Within minutes, they disappear into the night. Back inside the compound, Joe notices scratches carved into the wall beside her chair. Tiny marks. Almost invisible. She counts them. Not random. Coordinates. Someone was imprisoned here before. Someone who left behind a message. Joe memorizes every number. Every symbol. Every detail. She quietly whispers, you wanted someone to find this. The question is, who? Late that evening, the power briefly fails inside CIA headquarters. Emergency lights activate. Only for a few seconds. When the system comes back online, several classified files have disappeared. Including every document connected to Joe's kidnapping. Someone didn't hack the system from outside. They accessed it from within the building. Byron slowly looks around the operations center. The traitor is still inside. The helicopters circle several miles away as Cruz and her team observe the massive compound through thermal optics. Rows of buildings stretch across the valley. Guard towers. Underground bunkers. Armored vehicles. But something doesn't add up. Most of the heat signatures aren't carrying weapons. Families. Children. Medical personnel. Engineers. One operator lowers his binoculars. This isn't just a military base. Cruz nods. It's a city. Whoever controls this place isn't simply hiding from the world. They're building something. Something large enough to operate in complete secrecy. Back inside the compound, Joe is escorted through a maze of corridors. She keeps her head down, pretending to study the floor. In reality, she's counting. Left. Right. Staircase. Security camera. Steel door. Every detail is committed to memory. Then she notices something unusual. Every corridor has a different colored stripe painted along the wall. Blue. Green. Yellow. Red. At first, they appear decorative. Then Joe realizes they're directional markers. Each color leads to a different section of the facility. She's beginning to understand its layout. If she escapes, she won't be running blindly. She'll know exactly where to go. Using reconnaissance drones, Cruz discovers a ventilation shaft hidden beneath thick vegetation. It's barely large enough for one person at a time. An explosives expert examines the entrance. No alarms. No motion sensors. Whoever built this expected no one to find it. Cruz looks toward the compound. They were wrong. One by one, the team disappears into the tunnel. Joe is brought into a secure conference room. The mysterious leader stands before a digital map filled with locations around the globe. He points to several red markers. These are not attacks. They're preparations. Joe studies the map. Military ports. Communication hubs. Energy infrastructure. The targets aren't random. Someone is positioning resources in strategic locations. You think there's a war coming, Joe says. The leader answers calmly. I know there is. He turns to face her. The people who took you work for someone neither of us has ever met. Joe's expression hardens. For the first time, she realizes even the man questioning her may not be at the top of the chain. Back at headquarters, Caitlin orders every employee's recent movements reviewed. Security footage from restricted areas is replayed. Most of it is routine. Then an analyst pauses a recording. A familiar face walks through a classified archive at 2:17 a.m. No escort. No authorization. The timestamp matches the night Joe's mission file disappeared. Byron stares at the screen. I've worked with that person for years. No one speaks. If they're right, the breach didn't come from an outsider. It came from someone the agency trusted. As she's returned to her cell, Joe deliberately stumbles. A guard instinctively reaches out to steady her. She notices a distinctive insignia on his wristwatch. Not military. Private security. Another clue. These guards come from different backgrounds. Mercenaries. Former soldiers. Contractors. Someone has assembled them from across the world. That means money. A lot of money. This operation is backed by resources beyond an ordinary criminal network. Deep inside the ventilation system, Cruz's team reaches a maintenance room. The compound is only meters away. An operator plugs a small device into a communications panel. Static fills the radio. Then, a weak signal. Almost impossible to hear. A woman's voice. Broken by interference. Alive. Cruz immediately recognizes it. Joe. She grabs the radio. Joe, this is Cruz. No response. Only static. Then one final sentence comes through. Don't trust. The signal cuts off. Everyone looks at Cruz. Don't trust who? No one knows. Joe is briefly left alone while guards respond to an alarm elsewhere in the building. She slips into a nearby office. Locked filing cabinets line the walls. One drawer is still open. Inside are photographs. Still.